For almost 70 years, Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner were super close friends. They had a strong connection and liked spending quiet evenings together, watching Jeopardy and chatting about everyday stuff in life. When Carl died, Brooks started feeling that same closeness with Rob Reiner, who was Carl's son. He kept up that weekly habit, holding on to those easy evenings full of old stories and laughs. But it all fell apart fast after the awful news hit about Rob's sudden and terrible death. Cameras caught the spot where he was found the day before. That calm, private house that Brooks visited so many times was now dark and quiet. With no more laughs ringing out, it was like a whole lifetime's weight was now pressing down on Mel Brooks's shoulders. Heavy, cold, and too much to bear. Only after some long, tired sighs did he finally talk in an interview with Reuters. He shared bits and pieces of the sad Reiner family story, where love got pushed too far and one bad choice kept going until there was no turning back. Lately, news sites and social media have been full of stories about Rob Reiner. The scary crime, the arrest of his son Nick, and how a famous Hollywood family broke down after one night of fighting. But Mel Brooks stayed quiet. And that quiet said more than any talking could, because Mel and Rob's friendship was deeper than just being buddies. Mel was almost like a dad to Rob. His friendship with Carl Reiner went on for 70 years, until Carl died in 2020. Mel saw Rob grow up from a little kid in Carl's arms to a famous director. He was always there, giving advice, cheering him on, and being there like a friend and a second dad, a solid and dependable person in his life. Even as they got older and things slowed down, that connection stayed strong. Mel and Carl, and then Rob, shared easy but really important habits, from watching Jeopardy to sharing stories with lots of just parents who love their kids so much that their love got twisted and became the thing that ended up hurting them. Rob never thought Nick was dangerous. Mel said that he saw him as a hurt kid who needed help, even when that hurt was messing up everyone else. Mel clearly remembered one day, about 6 months ago, Rob came over to his house, walking and standing just like Carl Reiner used to, with that same tired look from carrying heavy stuff all their lives. That day, Rob didn't eat or drink. He just walked around the living room like he was being chased, even in his own safe place. Finally, he sat down hard in a chair. His voice said, "Nick is living in Brentwood again." Rob swallowed hard. This time, it's worse. It's not just falling back into old habits. He's acting mean, that he says things that aren't true, and I have to lock my bedroom door when I go to sleep. Think about that. Rob Reiner, a guy who made his career talking openly, focusing on family, and believing in people, now hiding from his own son. Mel said he'd never forget Rob's face right then, scared, ashamed, and still trying hard at a man who always thought love and help could fix anything, now seeing that his love wasn't enough to stop the bad stuff growing in his house. He looked at me like he was sorry for even saying it out loud. Mel said softly, like that fear was his own mistake. Mel pointed out that he saw not just fear, but also how much Rob and Michelle were giving up. They protected Nick from friends, from police, even from the real facts. They put up with angry outbursts, crazy requests, and many nights without sleep, holding on to the hope that if they just held on longer, things would get better. I've never seen love so quiet and so heartbreaking. Mel said that a love that lets parents take on the whole mess, so their kid isn't alone. When Mel asked Rob why he didn't call cops or get a court order to keep him away, the room felt heavy. Rob looked down for a long time, then talked slowly that I promised Michelle I wouldn't give up on our son. He hit the chair arm hard. If I kick him out, he'll end up dead on the streets. If I let him stay, maybe I can still help him. Mel remembered that clearly because he got that Rob wasn't being silly. He knew Nick could be dangerous, but he chose to think a dad's love could do what laws, doctors, and logic couldn't. And that choice, not one crazy moment, but 10 years of hoping, fearing, and giving in, slowly led them to an end nobody wanted to say out loud. Rob was stubborn, something everyone knew about him, but it was the stubbornness that made great movies. But with someone hooked on drugs and out of control, it turned risky. Mel said that strong will plus endless love stopped Rob from seeing he was letting danger stay in his house. Mel Brooks said what shocked him even more than the fear or the bad acts was the emotional and money drain Rob and Michelle went through. The last 2 years, Nick just kept asking for money. Brooks said with a shaky voice, eyes full of hurt, he demanded it, using the family's money and connections like payback. The asks never ended. For what seemed fair to trying to control work stuff, all as paying back for a tough childhood he said he had. Brooks remembered texts Rob showed him, full of hate, blaming parents for his drug problems and work fails. But the next day, Rob would still buy him a car, pay for a place, or fund an idea that's the Hollywood way. Mel sighed, the idea that throwing money at it fixes anything. Rob thought he could guide Nick's getting better like directing a movie, with everything perfect, but real life isn't like a movie script. Mel, who knew sad and funny stories best, felt the bad incoming. He talked about a recent holiday party, a small friendly gathering, but the room felt tense. Nick was there, his eyes not like his son's anymore, but like someone hunting, coldly checking out targets. When Rob told a joke about himself, people laughed a bit awkwardly. Everyone but Nick, who just stared, no smile. That night, Mel took Rob aside, held his shoulders tight, and said, "Robbie, you need to make him leave that he's not looking at you with love, that he's looking with greed." Rob, kind and talented, pulled away fast. He felt attacked. "You sound like bad reviewers," he said. "You don't get him like I do, that he's hurting." Rob said, voice tight, trying to stay cool. Mel cried telling it. His tears were for the kid he watched grow up, who played on the floor with Carl Reiner. Now a grown man who couldn't tell love from letting someone get away with stuff, whose parents' total love became something that wrecked them, and Mel couldn't stop it in time. Brooks felt he let them down, now the oldest left from that group of great Jewish comedy. Guys, saw he didn't protect what they built. In his quiet, blaming himself. He thought he should have called police earlier, should have stopped the bad thing. In the empty room's quiet. Mel looked at the yard and wondered, can total love really save someone when we ignore the hurts we cause for too long? But the part that made people stop and listen most, Mel said, wasn't old secrets, but the night it all exploded. Police had the facts clear, time of death, stab wounds, where the bodies were. But Mel knew what happened before because Rob called him late that night. The phone rang in the dark quiet, Mel's heart racing. He almost didn't answer, like some feeling warned him of bad news coming. When he did, Rob's voice was a whisper, shaking, heavy, not for talking, but like saying goodbye without words. Rob said Nick was losing it, yelling crazy about the will, demanding it all go to him. Money, control of family work, everything stuff. In the living room. Pictures, old things that Rob and Michelle loved, got smashed hard. Things thrown, broken glass everywhere. He keeps saying, I need everything. It all has to be mine. Anything else doesn't matter. Rob whispered, voice almost gone. Mel right away said, leave the house. Get in your car, Robbie. Come here now. But Rob's answer chilled anyone hearing it. I can't leave Michelle. She's in there with him. She's trying to calm him. If I go, he'll turn it all on her. Rob stayed even with danger close, knowing Nick was unstable and mad, but couldn't leave his wife with the trouble they made together. Rob went back in the room, stood in the mess and yelling, protecting Michelle from their son's anger. That was the last Mel heard Rob's voice. Heavy breathing on the phone, glass breaking, Nick's crazy yell stuck in his mind like ending all the good in the Reiner family. Mel said Nick wasn't just wild chaos, but from a big shadow. The shadow of Carl, of Rob too. Famous generations. That weight was too much for someone not ready. Nick had skill, a voice, but wanted easy praise. When Hollywood didn't give it, he blamed his dad's fame for taking his chances. Mel saw this breakdown like slow, bad growth. Outside, Brentwood looked perfect. Nice lawns, holiday lights neat. But inside, bad stuff had worn down the base, spreading everywhere. Mel felt the mad and upset in quiet rooms that looked fine, but were breaking. He was also mad at the helpers around them. Counselors, doctors, expensive advisors. Instead of warning, they downplayed the risk. They said tough rules were old, need total accepting. Mel called them part of the problem because they took money to say what Rob wanted, that his son was just sick, not risky. They gave fancy names to dangerous thoughts, but never said it could mean death. That's why Mel spoke up. He didn't care about the court case. Knowing. It was clear with proof. What mattered was his friend's real life. He didn't want Rob seen as random bad luck victim. He wanted people to know Rob gave everything to be the dad his son needed. Until. The story Mel shared makes us think about limits of parent love. We say, I'd die for my kids. Rob Reiner lived that to the fullest. The sad part, Mel said, is Rob's death didn't help his SON. IT just set his path to the talk's end. Mel went quiet. He looked at the room with stuff from his movies like Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and pictures of his late wife and Bancroft. He seemed lost in old times, eyes far away. He said the toughest now wasn't mad, but quiet. Quiet things not said. Heard he saw for years, and more phone calls, and Sunday meals. His tie to Carl cut. On the last one, Mel whispered, voice full. And I have to deal with knowing it was coming. He talked about private funeral plans in a speech he wanted to give in jokes. Just truth, same as to the reporter. Mel wanted all Hollywood to hear. Famous dads, rich moms, stars with kids. To really look and stop fooling themselves, he wanted Rob's death to wake them up hard. You can't love away danger in someone. All his life, Mel Brooks made fun of silly world stuff, made us laugh at bad history, hate, even death. But now, nothing to joke about, just hard, mean truth left at a family broken from inside. Sad story, no comedy fixes. As the reporter left, Mel held his arm, voice serious point, one more thing. Like to make clear or warn about people who helped Nick stay bad, who took Rob's money, lived good, and made his bad feelings worse. Nick got caught, Mel said, but lots helped make it happen. This wasn't Mel acting. This was someone who saw a family fall apart up close. His words were hard, pulling off the shiny cover of Reiner. Fame, showing the real herd under. Mel said behind gates, awards, they were normal people. Who messed up, loved too much without limits, put up with pain. When court starts in January, Nick in prison clothes, don't just see news. Remember Mel, 99 now, in his chair, sad for the kid H. He held and friend he couldn't save. Truth isn't simple like police paper. It's many little choices, warnings ignored, doors open because you can't shut out your own kid. That Mel's quiet is over, and it will echo long. Reminder that even happy story makers face dark ones. Mel Brooks is now 99, age where most just rest and think back. But for him, almost 100 years isn't just seeing world change. It's about friendships that last. And now, in old age quiet, time to respect that deep, special friendship that's been with him always. That IT started in the mid-1950s when Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner's friendship became more than work, a close bond that lasted almost forever. Back then, both worked on the TV comedy Show Your Show of Shows. Brooks, full of ideas and natural funny, caught Reiner's eye quick. Reiner's smart acting sense made Brooks see he found someone who thought the same. From their first talk, Reiner said to Brooks, I think we'll make big things together. And that wasn't just guess. It was a promise of friendship for almost 70 years. From start, they connected over easy jokes, behind-scenes fun, and feeling like partners in a world where laughs were their way. Their friendship grew strongest when they made the 2,000-year-old and IT started as a private joke between friends. Brooks played the super old guy who'd seen everything. Reiner asked questions so Brooks could give funny surprise answers. Those fun talks turned into records, big shows, and a lasting part of American comedy. Showing real friendship can come from work, understanding, and joy of making laughs together. In Carl Reiner's last years, the two had a sweet habit. Almost every night, Mel Brooks drove to Carl's Beverly Hills house for dinner. They watched Jeopardy, argued answers, then movies, often low-budget action or their old stuff. Brooks once joked in a talk, I go for the friendship, love, and mostly FRE. Eat dinner. But joke hid truth. How much they needed each other, talks, laughs, just being there. That closeness lasted years, showing friendship is in time and quiet daily moments. In one talk, Reiner laughed, saying, we can't go without these dinners. Brooks added funny but real. Those little habits kept them close over 60 years. In their jobs, both had huge success, but friendship was solid base. They went to events, worked on movies, shared life, helped in hard times. Most their bond wasn't just work, shared thinking, feelings matching, deep life understanding. Even with big wins, they talked about each other with respect and warm care. Without Carl, I'd never be me. Brooks once said, their bond made many admire. Reiner saw Brooks as endless. Ideas, Brooks called Reiner his light guide. They shared secrets safe. Families mixed. Carl's son Rob saw Mel as real uncle. Their friendship wasn't loud, quiet, real, based on total respect and joy of company. Carl Reiner died in June 2020 at 98, leaving big empty in Brooks's heart. Hurt not just losing lifelong friend, but daily habits. Brooks said even easy things like TV or talk felt empty without Reiner. Called him best friend ever, missing beyond words. After Brooks still went to house, set table, sat by TV like Reiner there, keeping habit to honor friendship. Those nights no laughs, but full of memories of lasting company. Every little thing, seats, old stories, symbol of friendship beyond time, full of feeling. Mel Brooks is 99 now, born June 28, 1926, still here. Last from golden comedy age, marked film, stage, culture over 70 years. Even old, he works, producing, voicing Spaceballs 2 for 2027. Shows his creative fire strong, even near end. Health details not much out, but people say mind sharp. Creative, daily work, writing, fixing, thinking like artist, not stopped by age. Recent story said he starts days walking house to stay loose. Then writes like every idea part of lasting mark. Lately, Brooks lives mostly Los Angeles or near California, close to art friends, family, help for old age. After losing Carl, everything fun became empty. Now after losing Rob so bad, many think his alone feeling deeper to Brooks's life now quieter, but not empty, made of memory bits between making and losing. Remembered laughs and quiet sad for loved ones walked with that he lives in lasting laughs, memories, but also deep alone of outliving closest. Hearts. Finally, Mel Brooks talked rare about Reiner family sad event. Voice full of sad. He called news Rob and Michelle killed in home, where they welcomed friends a huge hurt for anyone who knew them. Brooks remembered dinners, easy laughs when visiting Rob's home, ties binding his life to that family now cut forever. The name Nick guy accused of killing parents, not just sad news that it's hurt for a whole generation and art world still shocked by loss. Mel Brooks is alone, now not just no company, but empty comedy world losing two great people. If you, like many art fans, feel sad about this, leave a comment. What do you think about Reiner family sad story? What questions about what next? And remember, subscribe channel for more touching stories, memories, thoughts on legends like Mel Brooks ahead.